Hello. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And my name is James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James, and you have come to Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks. So stay tuned, chat with us, and we will chat back to you.
Exactly. This is not an all music program. This is a commentary show. That's why it's called Lighting the Way. But I do play the piano as I make commentary on the human condition. And tonight, I want to talk about spirituality. What good is it in our day and age? And I'm not talking about religion, though I will talk about that to some degree as well. So let me tell you, first of all, that we're delighted that you're with us. And if you comment while we're broadcasting live, then James will read me the comment, and then I'll respond live on the show to you in person. However, if you are not here during the live show, leave me your comments anyway, and I'll write back later. So that's it. So I don't know why that topic came to me tonight. What good is spirituality anyway? Well, some people don't have it, or they think they don't have it, and some people think they do have it and don't. But anyway, the first thing is, what the heck is it? You know, and just for fun, of course, I looked it up in the dictionary. Not that I was going to believe anything they said, but not me. I have my own opinion on everything. That, you know, said, pertaining to the soul or spirit. And I thought, what? What is the spirit? So, you know, this is one of those circular things where, well, it's about, look at that.
Karen says, I look like you tonight, Beth, only my down jacket is green.
Oh, my goodness, mine. I have a green one, but I was guided to put the red one on tonight. Actually, it was that we were running late because we were having all kinds of technical problems as usual. But anyway, so welcome to you, Karen.
Good to have you with us, Karen.
And green. I love green. My favorite color, actually. So anyway, that isn't because my name is green. My name is green because green is my favorite color. And I had a husband by the name of Green. Anyway, enough of that. So what is the spirit? Well, I don't know. So then what is spirituality? Well, then do we really know? So I was asking myself, what does spirituality mean to me? And I have two thoughts. Actually, I can only remember one at the moment. Oh, yes, I can think of two. Good. I'm going to go back to the question of spirit.
And Todd says hi there and sends a couple of things, caring and musical notes. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. Caring back, Todd. So spirituality is something we feel, and not something we can really define with our minds, because it isn't a mental process. It's something that we might try to describe in words, but it's a feeling to me. It's a feeling. So when I say there are two aspects of it, or two meanings to it that come to me, one is, if you have ever been, like when you were a child, if you went outside and if you could see the sky, and if you could see the stars in the sky, if there wasn't that much pollution, you would look up and you would see the stars, and you knew, wow, the world is a big place. You know, look at all these stars. I think I can't read it.
Elizabeth is here, and she says hello and sends a couple of hearts of love. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, hello, hello. So it's that feeling of awe, that you know how small you are.
That there's something greater than you.
much greater. Now, is there really anything greater than me? Well, sometimes it's hard to focus on anything other than me because I'm so trapped in my own. I need this, I want this, my foot hurts, my back hurts, my head hurts, my pocketbook hurts, whatever it is. So, but then we have these moments and it's like, or you're in the desert and you see this vast vista. So, so spirituality, in one aspect, it does have to do with that feeling of, wow, there's a huge universe and I'm just a small part of it. And I'm connected to that.
It's a heightened feeling, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yes, and that is a very good
Muhammad
point.
Is here, says
Hello,
music
Muhammad.
has therapeutic effects, perhaps spiritual ones, sir, madam?
I couldn't agree with you more. I think music can very much have spiritual effects.
Well, I find a lot of your music very uplifting.
And that feeling of being lifted up is very similar to that feeling of being lifted up in the when we look at the stars. Or some of us had this experience when we were in a religious setting, like a temple or a church or something, or a mosque, where you hear certain sounds. Maybe you're hearing certain music, and or you feel, this beautiful cathedral and there's an energy in there and you just feel it, and it's like one more time that too is connecting us to something bigger than ourselves. And so many of us have had that experience in religious contexts, but religion and that feeling are not the same, because you can have that feeling and have no religion, or you can have religion and not have that feeling.
Right. Oh, Catalina says good evening, and she sends a heart of love and a star and a golden sun.
Thank you, Catalina. Very, very happy to have you too. So the other sense of having a spirit is, we use it this way: I lost my spirit. When we're depressed, we'll say that I lost my spirit, and that means we've lost a certain sense of inner strength. See, isn't it interesting that spirituality, where we're connecting to our spirit and we lose our spirit, makes us feel defeated or depressed, where yet they seem to have different meanings altogether, but they are related, because when we've lost our spirit, we've lost that sense of empowerment that we feel when we don't feel alone just with our little selves and our little capacities. It's like somewhere there is help out there, there is something for us. And I think a lot of people want to believe that there is something out there that is helping us. Looks like there's another comment.
Muhammad has another comment. Can we feel spiritually renewed apart from doing religious services, madam?
I absolutely think so. In fact, as I said, see, religion is a series of beliefs, and beliefs are mental. They are like, I believe that God is, or I believe that the universe is, and I believe that I should do this, and I believe in this dogma or that principle, or that this behavior is right or this behavior is wrong. So it's like a whole lots of shoulds and shouldn'ts, and that is, to me, what religion is. It's all codified. It's a set of beliefs. Whereas spirituality is free. It has no beliefs. It's just a feeling of being at one with something greater than ourselves. So you see, they do not necessarily go hand in hand. And sometimes, if we're going to be very honest, sometimes our religious beliefs actually get in the way of our spirituality, because we're feeling guilty for something that's normal or natural, and then we start to feel small, and instead of feeling uplifted, we start feeling downtrodden, like, oh, I'm so ashamed. I did this, I did that, I was bad, So what happens to that feeling of spirituality, that spirit that is connected to something higher? You're getting squashed into some human belief system that may or may not be very helpful.
I'd like to also add that I feel that spirit can be renewed or experienced in certain practices like meditation.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
experience a deeper inner peace, for example, wholeness, well-being.
That's right.
Right.
That is correct. Again, you're feeling part of something larger when you meditate because the I starts to dissolve. We have another comment,
Yes,
two more.
Muhammad has another comment. Spirituality is associated with remembering God.
Well, that is a very good definition of its own. But if you don't have God, a belief in God, you may still be spiritual, Muhammad, because you feel your spirituality in a different way. And if you think of God as just being the vast all, then it is really the same thing. So in that case, I think that I would agree with you, because it is remembering God, meaning remembering the whole, remembering that which is greater than
The
ourselves.
totality.
And we
of
have
everything.
more.
And Amy says, I love that, spirituality being free. Thank you. And she also says, free of any belief system or opinions.
I love that part, the free of beliefs and opinions. And I have been guided in my spiritual quest to hold opinions very lightly. Like, we don't really know anything, so don't get too caught up in an opinion. So I love that. So now the question that I asked on the show is, well, what good is it? You know, is it any good? What's it doing for us?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, many of us are feeling down because there is so much needless pain in the world. In fact, there's so much needless pain within ourselves. We are really so beset by negativity, anger, despair, fear. Absolutely, there is so much of that going on in our world today. And so many of us are actually suffering also, not just in our minds, but many of us suffer in our minds more than we do in reality. But that makes it no less real because it's still suffering. So you can say, well, what the who? What do I care about spirituality? It isn't doing anything for me. You know, I still don't have a job, a house, a wife. I don't get, I've prayed and prayed and prayed and I haven't gotten any of these things. Well, you know, if you don't think of spirituality as praying to an entity that is going to give you things, you may find that you can benefit a lot from spirituality, and it looks like there is.
Another comment here?
Yeah.
Muhammad says, apart from being spiritual by remembering God, we may feel physical by doing something wrong.
I don't think I really understand what you mean by I feel physical. You mean the opposite of spiritual by doing something wrong? I think that too many belief systems make us feel bad when we're not doing something wrong, but we're just doing something natural that the religion has decided that we should not do. For example, some religions tell us that we should not have premarital sex, or that we should not have sex with ourselves. Well, you know, it's very natural that even children have sexual feelings and are stimulated by things. And so there is a perfectly good example of how people are being shamed for doing something that is natural. And then they become afraid. But I don't want to really get too far into that discussion because I want to go on to the part about what good does it do. If we think that by being spiritual, we can escape reality, I think we're wrong. This is just my opinion. I think that reality is for everybody, that we all have to deal with it. For instance, there is climate change. I don't care how spiritual you are. If the river is dry, the river is dry. You know, if you can't get a doctor because there's a doctor shortage, or you can't get medication because there's a medication shortage, all of that reality, it doesn't matter what you think, what your beliefs are, what your religion is, it's still a problem. You know, we still have the problem. But what spirituality can do is it can give us a place of peace and calm, like you're talking about in the meditation. Okay, I have no doctor. Okay, now what am I afraid of? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to die. Or I'm going to be afraid of having more pain. Or I'm afraid of something else. I won't be able to go to work and make money. And all of that may be true. But when we go into that spiritual place, in that meditative place, we become calm and we become more in alignment with whatever is so. And it looks like we have another kind.
Yes, Muhammad adds something here. Says the word physical makes us feel sexy.
Oh,
That's one aspect of the physical.
that is one aspect. Hungry is another aspect of the physical. But we may be physical but it's then I don't understand why that is doing something wrong, unless you mean we are being tempted to do something we shouldn't do. But then I have to come back to the question of, well, why shouldn't we do it? Should we not do it because somebody said 10,000 years ago that it's no good? Or should we not do it because it's hurtful to ourselves and others? And to me, that's really the important thing is this behavior hurting me or others? I don't care what somebody thinks somebody said so long ago. In fact, for instance, in the case of homosexuality, there is homosexuality throughout the animal kingdom. And that can't be wrong, because if God created the universe, then God created homosexuality. And so to shame someone for being homosexual is somebody's opinion for some reason.
And
Okay.
Here's another comment. Amy says, I see spirituality as a way to free myself from my opinions and instead find a calm place from where I can see possibilities that are otherwise hidden.
I love what you're saying, Amy. I think that's exactly the right thing. That we can go into a different level of thinking. It's not just like you have a different thought. It means suddenly you're looking at a much bigger picture. Just like we say that spirituality is a way of feeling our connection to something greater than ourselves. When we are in that more spiritual place, instead of thinking in narrow ways, we start to think in bigger ways.
Could that be like the perspective of the eagle, having a higher perspective?
A higher perspective. Now, that means the perspective of I say in my book, Living with Reality, which is free on our website, healingartsnetwork.org, I talk about the perspective of the eagle and the ant. Now, the ant is coming along the ground, and it is seeing very minute things in a very minute area, whereas the eagle is looking from a much higher perspective. Well, we need both, because the ant is going to see and sense things that the eagle can't. And the eagle is going to see and sense things that the ant can't. And so it's very important to keep grounded and have spirituality at the same time. If we are only looking at it from the ant's perspective, it's very narrow. If we're only looking at it from the eagle's perspective, we could be completely delusional. Oh yes.
Or ungrounded.
Ungrounded. We have to have both. And so what we need today more than ever is grounded spirituality. Spirituality where our feet are on the ground.
Muhammad has a comment. I think you're talking about secularism more than about spirituality, madam.
I don't agree with that, but you may have that belief. And I am not going to argue beliefs. I mean, beliefs are beliefs. I am not talking about secularism. I am talking about spirituality, where you feel the freedom to see things from a different perspective, where you are freed from the ideas and the beliefs and the traditions and the customs of your own upbringing, of my upbringing, of my own personal pains, of my narrow vision. I feel just it's the opposite, that I'm talking about being in a higher dimension, being able to see things from a different perspective, and yet we also need to keep our feet firmly on the ground so that we are not floating off into some kind of la-la land, which is also very possible. Now, why do we need this so much today? We need it because life is difficult, and people are anxious, and people are fighting, and we're scared, and a lot of us are not thinking straight. We're just like reacting or angry or not taking into consideration all the aspects, which we can when we're in a spiritual place. In a way, Muhammad, I'm also talking about spirituality as being mature, as a process of becoming more mature, of letting go of ideas or beliefs or reactivity that is something that is habitual and that we have not necessarily thought through for ourselves. But when we're developing our spirituality, we let go of the human concepts that we are constrained by, and we start to think in larger ways or different ways. And we do that by connecting to this part of us that can connect to something greater than ourselves.
Yes.
So, again, you do not have to agree with me. I'm just sharing with you what I believe. I think whatever I means, whatever this little speck, God once said to me, I asked God, who am I? And God said, look into the stream. He said, you are the drop of water that is different from all the rest. And I said, if I look into the stream, I don't see a drop of water that is different from all the rest. And God said, that's right. There is no drop of water that is different from all the rest. We can take a drop out of the water, but it's not because that drop of water is different. And so we are part of something greater than ourselves. I am a small part of history, and I don't know what I'm doing in this small part of history. I try to offer whatever wisdom I have, whatever my experience has taught me, whatever I think is working and will be helpful to you and to everyone.
Can spirituality also give you the strength and the courage to deal with the negativities that are going on around you?
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, James, because that goes back to the feeling in the beginning that I was talking about of the fighting spirit. When we have our spirit, we feel strong. Now, whatever that is, when we feel our connection, when we don't get lost in the I, in the me, in the my, we can feel some strength that can help sustain us. And the irony is, that's us. It's deep within us. It's above us. I used to use the word God because that was how I first encountered my spirituality, was through hearing an inner voice that I associated with God. And I saw God as being within me, above me, around me. It's all of that. It's everything, and feeling all of that as being connected. So when I feel that strength in me that I could call God, right, which is this connection to something greater, then I am more able to put up with what's going on in the world. But I'm not going to tell you that this is not delusional.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to tell you that I don't know what is real, but that I go by what I feel. I feel this connection. I feel this connection to the oneness. I feel this connection to that which is above me. I feel the connection to that which is around me. I feel the connection to what is within me. And to me, that is spirituality, the ability to connect to what is above me, around me, and within me. And it does give me greater strength. Every day, I ask myself whether or not I want to give up on something, give up on fighting for something better, give up on trying to, even sometimes on survival. And when I feel like that, I feel flat, like I'm a pancake on the floor, and I'm weak, and I can feel my legs are weaker. And I have to ask myself, why? Where is my spirit? Where is it gone? And usually something has happened, or it may be something that has happened around me where the bottom has fallen out of me, and then I need to find that part of me. Again, I need to go deeper inside myself. I need to go higher above me. I need to go wider around me and try to find that strength so that I can get up and go on and do whatever I have been put on the earth to do. So that's about all I can say about that tonight. I don't know if that was helpful or not.
Very, very helpful.
Was
indeed.
it?
Very helpful.
Thank you.
Yes.
So like the show, love the show, and share the show. And leave your comments.
Let's see. Muhammad says, I'm leaving your show now, and it's middle of my school as I am getting late for it, madam. Well, thank you, Muhammad.
Thank
for
you,
staying with us.
Muhammad. Yes, that you stayed with us as long as you could, and we feel your support, and that feels great. And so we invite everyone to come back next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. for Lighting the Way, Granny Raps and Rocks, where we're going to talk about I don't know what. And tomorrow night, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, this is all Pacific time, there's Magical Improvs. And
that's all music.
And that's all music.
Improvised music.
Improvise, which means that Spirit guides us and Spirit guides me.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we have...
And Karen says, yes, helpful for me too. Thank you, Karen. Glad it's helpful for you
You can bolster my spirit. You know, I have to say this before we go tonight. It's the connection to what is within me, above me, and around me. And one of the things that is around me is you. Your love, your support, your well wishes bring more support to me, to the inner me, to get my spirit back up and still fighting the good fight. And so, yes, your support is crucial. And by liking or loving or sharing the show or following us, you show your support, and we feel it.
Yes, we do.
So maybe we'll see you tomorrow night. Remember, you can leave a comment anytime, and I will respond later.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
So thanks for coming. We're so happy you could be with us. And take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.